What if the divine isn't somewhere far in the sky, but hidden deep within you, regulating your breath, guiding your prana, quietly preparing you for a spiritual awakening? What if every breath you take isn't just air, but a whisper from Shiva himself nudging you towards that ultimate truth? Thirumoolar didn't imagine this. He experienced it. He reveals a secret. When you surrender with love, when your devotion becomes pure, Shiva enters your very being, not through rituals or words, but by silently regulating the prana, burning away your karmas and awakening the radiant light within your Sahasradala. In songs 36 to 40 of the Thirumandiram lies a spiritual blueprint, a map not just for worship, but for inner transformation. Welcome back to the Thirumandiram Series, where ancient wisdom meets modern seekers. If you're joining us for the first time, I encourage you to explore the previous parts of this series, as well as our Siddhar series, which lays a strong foundation on the life and teachings of the great Siddhar Thirumoolar. You'll find the links to those in the description below. If this series is touching your heart, please consider supporting our mission, like, share, and help spread this sacred knowledge by sharing it with your friends, family, and fellow seekers. Now let's dive into song 36.
அப்பனை நந்தியை யாராமுதினை ஒப்பிலி வல்லலை ஊழி முதல்வனை எப்பரிசாயினும் ஏத்துமின் ஏத்தினான் அப்பிரிசீசன் அருள் பெறலாமே.
In the first line, Appanai means the Divine Father, and Nandiyai refers to Thirumoolar's Guru, whom he worships as God himself. Ara Amudanai speaks of that divine being who is like an endless nectar, whose bliss never fades, and who alone can grant the state of ultimate enlightenment. In the next line, Oppili Vallalai Uri Mudalvanai. Oppili Vallalai means the incomparable one who showers unconditional compassion upon all living beings. Uri Mudalvanai refers to the Supreme who stands as the origin of time and remains even during the Great Dissolution or Mahapralaya. Moving to the next line, Epparisayinum Ettumin. This means whatever the path you choose, be it Sariyai, Kiriyai, Yogam or Jnanam, if you surrender and seek the Lord through any of these means, then Ettinal Apparisu Isan Arul Peralame. Then through that very path you will surely receive His grace, which is the unconditional bliss of the divine. So what we understand from this song is, if we find it difficult to attain the Lord through one marga like Jnana Marga, then we should strive to reach Him through other means like Yoga Margam or Bhakti Margam or any path that resonates with your heart. Thirumoolar doesn't ask us to compare which path is greater. His focus is on the goal, to realize the divine. So instead of getting lost in choosing between the paths, pick the one that calls to your soul and walk it with sincerity until you reach that sacred, thoughtless state we spoke about in the previous song. Now let's move to song 37.
நானும் நின்றேத்துவேன் நாள்தோறும் நந்தியை தானும் நின்றாள் தழல் தானுக்கும் மேனியன் வானில் நின்றார் மதி போலுடலுள்ளு வந்து ஊனில் நின்றாங்கே உயிர்க்கின்றவாரே.
In the first line, Nanum Nindrethuven Nadorum Nandiyai. Here Thirumoolar says he meditates upon Nandi, his revered Guru, every single day, in deep contemplation, in unwavering devotion. Moving to the second line, Tanum Nindran Thadal Thanokkum Meniyan. He describes Lord Shiva, whose radiant form glows like a blazing fire, a body of divine light that burns with purity and brilliance. In the third line, Vanil Nindrar Madi Pol Udalul Uvandu. Just as the moon shines clearly in the vast sky, the same divine light glows within, in the subtle space of the body, in the Chandramandala, or in other words, the energy center that resides in the Sahasradala. And moving to the final line, Oonil Nindrange Uyir Kindravare. It is he who governs the vital life force within, the prana, making it possible for us to experience that inner moonlight, that brilliant divine presence shining from the crown chakra within. So to summarize this song, Thirumoolar speaks of his daily meditation on his Guru Nandi with deep devotion. He describes Lord Shiva as a radiant flame, a divine light that burns with power and grace. Just like the moon shining in the sky, Shiva's light also glows within our own body, specifically in the Chandramandala, that is at the Sahasrara chakra. It is this divine presence that regulates our prana, allowing us to feel and realize the bright light of Shiva deep within us. Now let's move to the next song.
பிதற்றொழியேன் பெரியானறியானை பிதற்றொழியேன் பிறவா உருவானை பிதற்றொழியேன் எங்கள் பேர் நந்தி தன்னை பிதற்றொழியேன் பெருமைத்தவன் நானே.
Here, Pidatrudal means rambling about something continuously. In the first line, Thirumoolar says, Pidatrodiyen Periyan Ariyanai. I'll never stop rambling about him, the one who's immeasurably great and supremely rare to know or attain. In the next line, he continues, Pidatrodiyen Pirava Uruvanai. I'll never stop speaking of that one who is unborn, the eternal, the beginningless, supreme, who exists beyond the cycle of birth. He then says, Pidatrodiyen Yengal Per Nandi Thannai. I'll never stop chanting the name of our Per Nandi, the sacred name he has lovingly given to that formless, nameless Lord. And finally he declares, Pidatrodiyen Perumaittavan Dani. I'll never cease speaking about that noble one who made me great. And what is this greatness he speaks of? It is the very experience we saw in the previous song. How the Lord, through his grace, regulated the prana within, illuminated the inner space and guided it upward to the Sahasrara, granting the bliss of divine realization. And for that, Thirumoolar says, how could I ever stop speaking his praise? That's one beautiful song. To summarize this song, Thirumoolar expresses his overflowing devotion to the Supreme. He says he will never stop praising the one who is vast, rare and unborn. Though the Lord is formless and nameless, Thirumoolar lovingly calls him Per Nandi and continues to speak his name with unending joy. Why such devotion? Because this divine one is the very source of his transformation, the one who awakened the flow of prana, led it to Sahasrara and granted him the bliss of realization. It is this greatness gifted by grace that makes Thirumoolar forever speak his name. We too, with a continuous sadhana and by that divine grace, can achieve this state. Now let's move to song 39.
வாழ்த்த வல்லார் மனத்து உள்ளூரு சோதியை தீர்த்தனை அங்கே திளைக்கின்ற தேவனை ஏத்தியும் எம்பெருமான் என்று இறைஞ்சியும் ஆத்தஞ்செய்து ஈசன் அருள் பெறலாமே.
In the first line, வாழ்த்தவல்லார் மனது உள்ளூரு சோதியை, Thirumoolar says, for those who are able to sing praises of Lord Shiva with love and devotion, he reveals himself within their hearts as a radiant inner light, a divine glow that shines from within. In the next line, he describes the Lord as Tirthanai, the sacred one who washes away our karmas, just like how the Tirtham, the sacred Tirtham or the holy water from the sacred Tirtham purifies us. This divine purification prepares the soul to recognize the Lord within. In the third line, he says, ஏத்தியும் எம்பெருமான் என்று இறைஞ்சியும். When we sincerely praise him as Emperuman, my Lord, with deep reverence and devotion, what happens? ஆத்தஞ்செய்து ஈசன் அருள் பெறலாமே. Then, through such heartfelt surrender and spiritual earning, we can surely receive the grace of Isan, Lord Shiva himself. And what does this grace do? It brings transformation to our body, mind and soul, regulating the flow of prana and guiding us towards the experience of higher states of consciousness. So from this song, Siddhar Thirumoolar emphasizes that to receive the Lord's blessings, one's mind must be pure, and that purity comes through deep love and devotion. By constantly contemplating on him and singing his praises with heartfelt surrender, when the mind is filled with such devotion, his radiant light begins to shine within. Through his grace, he burns away our karmas just like a sacred Tirtham washes away sins and prepares us for union with him, guiding us gently toward the higher realms of spiritual experience. Now let's move to song 40.
குறைந்து அடைந்து ஈசன் குறை கழல் நாடும் நிறைத்து அடைஞ்செம்பொனின் நேரொளியொக்கும் மறைஞ்சு அடம் செய்யாது வாழ்த்த வல்லார்க்கு புறஞ்சடன் செய்யுமான் புகுந்து நின்றானே.
In the first line, குறைந்து அடைந்து ஈசன் குறை கழல் நாடும், Thirumoolar says, when we sincerely surrender all our flaws, worries and shortcomings at the divine feet of Lord. Here kurai means defects and kadal means the divine feet of the Lord. So what happens when we surrender our flaws and shortcomings at the divine feet of Lord? Niraindu adai semponin neroli okkum. He describes those sacred feet in this line, which is glowing like sempon, which is the red, radiant hue of pure gold. மறைஞ்சு அடம் செய்யாது வாழ்த்த வல்லார்க்கு. In the third line, he speaks of those who, without ego or arrogance, sincerely and humbly worship the Lord's feet with devotion, not for show, not as a ritual, but from heart. Then in the final line, he says what happens when we follow all the three lines that we saw earlier. So in the final line, he reveals what that person would attain, which is Puranjadan Jaivan Pugundu Nindrane. He says, for such true seekers, the Lord himself enters within and resides inside them. He becomes the inner guide, helping them break free from the endless cycle of birth and death by awakening the knowledge of their true divine nature. So in this song, Thirumoolar highlights the power of true surrender. When we offer all our flaws and burdens at the divine feet of the Lord with sincerity, his grace begins to shine upon us. His lotus feet, glowing like that radiant red gold or sempon, becomes a symbol of deep spiritual awakening. Those who worship him with pure devotion, free from ego, pride, are blessed in a profound way. For such souls, the Lord doesn't just remain outside. He enters within, becomes their inner guide, and helps them break free from the cycle of birth and death by revealing their true divine nature. And with that, we conclude our journey through these 5 sacred verses of the Thirumandiram, each line Each word is a gateway inviting us inward toward the light, the silence, and the divine presence within. If this exploration resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. By spreading this ancient wisdom, you become part of a sacred mission, helping more seekers discover the timeless path revealed by Siddhar Thirumoolar. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Do share them in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and may your inner journey continue with grace and light.